Welcome back to the podcast. We're going through my biggest lessons in relationships, given that I'm getting married tomorrow. At the time of recording this, I'm probably married by the time that you're watching this. And this is very much a selfish podcast, just to share with you guys the lessons that I've been able to pick up in my journey in relationships. And I don't believe we've been together for over 4 years now, and I don't believe that's a long stretch of time by any means. But I feel like we have a lot of love, a lot of connection, a lot of joy, and a lot of fulfillment, a lot of growth in our relationship. And I've helped a lot of clients with their relationships. And I just want to share with you guys my journey so far and what's worked well for me, because I've come from someone who was very close-hearted. I had a lot of limiting beliefs around relationships. I saw my mum and dad and how they related together, which was very dysfunctional, toxic, unhealthy, abusive, mentally, emotionally, physically. And there was a lot of unlearning that I had to do to even be in a relationship full stop, let alone being marrying my wife, or my soon-to-be wife, as of tomorrow. So if you're interested in relationships and you want to hear what's worked really well for me, stick around for this podcast, and I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lewis Huckstep. I'm a performance and fulfillment coach. I help people create a life that they love, to find their life's purpose, to heal through their stuff, to overcome any limitations, trauma, wounds, things that weigh you down, and help you just create a life that you truly love. With that being said, I'm going to kick back into it, or straight into it, I should say. So this is the quote that I think resonated most with me, especially at the start of my relationship. I didn't started my journey with self-development, and then obviously helped me with my relationships later on. The quote is, if you don't heal or address your unhealed wounds, your intimate relationship will do it for you. So, say it again. If you don't address or heal your unhealed wounds, your intimate relationship will do it for you. So I talk about a lot about healing inner work. Obviously, that's a huge part of what it is that I do. And I say that nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. I'll say that again. Nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. So whenever you get triggered emotionally, so you snap. And I've also discerned the difference between what a boundary is and what a trigger is. Because if something triggers you and you have a level of emotion behind the trigger, so you get angry or you get frustrated or you get anxious or you shut off or you disassociate or you have something like that and you've emotionally reacted, I would call that a trigger. Say your partner does something or anyone does something and you're like, fuck you did this, blah, 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 and you snap back emotionally, I'd call that a trigger. Versus, say someone does something to you, you just say, hey, I just want to let you know, you might not intended to do what you just did, but the way it came across or the way you spoke to me just then, I don't appreciate that. I don't tolerate that. You can feel the difference between like an emotional trigger and a snap versus a, hey, I just don't tolerate that. That's a boundary for me. So I don't know where I was going with that, but nothing triggers you. It reveals what's inside of you. You will get triggered the most inside of an intimate relationship. And it took me a while to really recognize that and understand that, especially early on in my journey. And I'll take you back to my first ever self-development seminar workshop that I went to over 10 years ago now. Tony Robbins, went to a Tony Robbins event in Sydney, and it was Unleash the Power Within, a UPW, if anyone's heard of that, I've attended it. It's a fantastic event. I've attended it 3 times. He does the fire walk, you make a move, and it's really, really cool. And he goes through a limiting belief process. So essentially, he calls it your Dickens process, or he calls it the Dickens process, where essentially you identify a limitation, a limiting belief that you've got. And if you're not aware or understand beliefs are essentially the beliefs that you have about the world, about yourself and about the world and about everything. And your beliefs become the filters in which you see the world through. And I talk about the ego a lot. I talk about healing the ego, dissolving the ego, and I guess rewiring your ego. Your ego is the identity of who you view yourself to be and how you feel the world to be, and who you need to be enough. In other words, your ego is the accumulation of all of your beliefs put together. Now, your beliefs, your ego, it's number one, or it's got two main traits about the ego. Number one, which is what this point is getting to, it will prove itself right. I'll say that again. Your ego will prove itself right. So what does that mean? If you believe you're not lovable, if you believe you're not enough, if you believe you're not beautiful, if you believe that you're not good with money, if you believe that success is hard, if you believe that you're not worthy of something, whatever it may be, and we've all got our versions of what I just said, your ego, because its main priority is to make itself right, you will self-sabotage your goals. And I'll use the example of you're not lovable. Actually, I'll use the one that I had. So my belief back then at the Tony Robbins event at UPW, the belief was relationships are painful. Because when I grew up, my mum and dad were mentally, emotionally, physically, verbally abusive to each other. They fought over each other. They broke up. They didn't have a very happy, fulfilling, loving relationship. I come from a football background, so rugby for people that are from not in Australia, so rugby league specifically. And I hung around the boys, the lads in the footy world, and it was heartbreaking and it really hurt to be in the scenario where we'd go out to parties on weekends, house parties back in the day, and my mates would just go cheat on their partners, like blatantly cheat on them, and then the next day at school, like literally lie to their face. And I hated that. And all of those references created the belief for me that relationships are painful. So if you have a belief that relationships are painful, how open and receiving are you going to be to get into an intimate relationship? Not very. And that's why I was single for a long fucking time. I had like little sort of shallow relationships for maybe 2 months max, I think, and then I'll just break up too much. Don't want to lean into it. It's too painful. I'll break up and I'll get into another one. And that was me for a long time. So the first event I did with Tony Robbins is we identified a limiting belief and you get rid of it essentially. I have a different process. It's like an iteration of that, but I teach that as well. So the point of the story is if you don't address your inner work, your unhealed wounds, your limitations, your inadequacies, your fears, your scarcities, all the above, your intimate relationship will do it for you. Now, there's a bit of a happy medium here because some people have like an extreme approach where I'm not going to date anyone until I'm fully healed. Well, sorry to break it to you, you're never fully healed. There's always more to do. There's always more beliefs that are limiting you. There's always more wounds that you haven't healed through. And if you don't believe me, show me a single human being who's never triggered. So the goal is not to not date anyone until you're, quote, done and finished. You need to get to a point where you take ownership that you have your stuff, that nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. So when you're triggered or a wound is revealed inside of a relationship, you take the fucking ownership and you actually work through your stuff. And I've shared tons of examples through my content of things from me and my partner when our wounds come up, when we get triggered. Like, I'm a human, we get triggered. But the thing that has helped us significantly in our relationship is taking ownership of it. And then when George is triggered or when I'm triggered, we do our best. We're not perfect. Sometimes we have a blatant argument. We are humans. We call them healing conversations. So we like to change the label around to make it a bit softer and a bit nicer. But we get triggered. And I would say 80% of the time, we navigate it really, really well. We breathe. We regulate our emotions. We come back to center. We hold space for each other. We love each other through the trigger. And then after it's done, we then work through whatever came to the surface. We dissolve the limitation. We work through the wound. We be seen in our stuff, because a lot of healing can be done by just being seen and loved unconditionally for the parts you have shame around. That's a way to heal. So I guess I'm kind of just sort of free-flowing with this podcast, but what's really, really served me and what's really, really helped me get to this point in our relationship of where we're at is that we both take ownership of our own stuff. We both get triggered to this day. We will never not get triggered. You'll never not get triggered. And the person you're in a relationship with is going to trigger you more than anyone else or anything else because they just see you more than anything else. You're seeing me right now through a video or listening to me on a podcast right now. You don't see me when, like, I haven't slept well, when I'm sick. I was sick the other day, actually. Actually, I had a big vomit. It was gross. So it's like Georgia sees that. Georgia sees when the washing machine breaks, when we have a bit of financial stress, when we have things going on. Like, you guys don't see that. Who sees it? Georgia sees it. So Georgia sees so many different sides to me that most 99.99% of people never get to see. So just by proximity and putting awareness on those parts of me, you're naturally going to trigger each other more than anyone else. So that's why you will get triggered more than anything else inside your relationship. Take ownership for it. Take ownership and have awareness of this, and then have tools in your toolkit to heal through it. Whether it's meditation, whether it's journaling, whether it's rewriting beliefs, whether it's working with me and I do ego dissolving processes. I have a balancing process where I heal wounds, limitations, all that stuff. But you got to take ownership. You got to take ownership that this is your stuff. Your partner has revealed it in you. So they've actually given you a gift of awareness of where it is. So then you can then go heal through it. So I guess that's the biggest first point of this podcast. Second point that's really, really served us is before even getting into the relationship, whatever, over 4 years ago now, is having a vision for what you want your relationship to be long-term. Because you might have heard the terms in relationship sort of world of the difference between compatibility and chemistry. So chemistry is kind of like that spark, like that sexual attraction, that energy when you guys get together just feels so fucking alive and a passion, and you just got that connection with each other. That's chemistry. But compatibility is, do your goals and your life, your vision, your values align with each other long term? And that's the less sexier answer, because it's not all the high emotions, horniness, sexiness, and all that stuff. It's like, okay, what's the vision for your relationship? And the main areas I go through is intimately, so sex, literally sex life. What type of sex life do you want? And most people, one, it's too taboo to fucking talk about it, which I don't know why. Like, who here, if you're watching this, who here wants to have a fucking average sex life for the rest of your life? Fuck no. I want to have a great sex life. So I bring that up. And obviously, when I say bring it up, you will experience that and you'll know that through the dating stage, right? So does it tick that box? What about mentally? Are there beautiful quality conversations if that's what you value? Some people don't want that. That's okay. I value that very highly. So having really deep, beautiful, intimate conversations with my partner is important. Life goals, like the big non-negotiable life goals, family and kids is probably going to be one of them. Because picture this. Say you've got your heart set on having children. You want kids and it's the biggest thing, that's the most important thing for you, for your life. And then the person you're dating, even though there's so much chemistry and love and affection and the sex is amazing, they never, ever, ever, ever want to have fucking kids. They never want to do it. You can see the issue. You're going to hit conflict because there's not alignment with your vision. So the second point that's really served us is both of us getting really clear on our vision early on before we started dating, and refining it as we start dating, because your vision evolves. Like, I'm a different person than 4 or 5 years ago when Georgia came into my life. So we're constantly checking in. This is a hot tip that I recommend that you guys do. I do this for myself and I get all my clients to do it. Every 3 months, do a reset. So you go back, redo your values, your purpose, your mission, your vision, and your master plan for your life, which is like your goals and your master plan of how you're going to get there. Do it together and then realign with each other. Did your values change? Is your purpose, what's your purpose? Not that your purpose changes significantly, but you get more refined on what it is. Is there any shifts with your vision? Like, I realize I really want to travel now. I really want to do well financially. I want to start doing acting lessons. I want to be a dancer. I want to start this business. I want to have children. I didn't want to, but now I do. Like, you got to speak into it. You got to be really, really clear that, okay, we have a vision, as in we have our own individual visions, and there's alignment with them with the non-negotiables. No one's perfect. There's no one who's only positive, no negatives. That doesn't exist. So get that fantasy out of your head. But you want to be aligned with the non-negotiables. A silly example, my partner is a music gal. She's a singer, and she's a hardcore Taylor Swift fan. I'm not a big, massive Taylor Swift fan. I appreciate her. I love the success she's had, but I'm not a big Swiftie. I barely listen to much music, full stop. So that's like, there's not alignment with that, but it's like, I don't really fucking care, to be honest. I don't care. It's not like I have to have a partner who's a Swiftie or who's not a Swiftie. It just doesn't matter to me. I have non-negotiables around self-growth, around health, around self-development or self-growth. I said that already. Around intimacy, around family, and around finances. They're like my big non-negotiables, and I've got other ones as well. So you just speak into it. What's your vision? What's your partner's vision? Be honest. Don't fucking lie to each other just to try keep the relationship alive, because that shit will come out later. Be fucking truthful. If your partner wants black and your other partner wants white, and not skin color, just one wants A, one wants B, and it doesn't make sense, don't move forward. Or just be real with each other, saying, hey, look, let's just have fun with each other. This is not going to work out long term because we have different aspirations for what we want. And that's awesome. So that's what's really, really served us. I guess just to tie into it, I won't go too deep on this same point, but then having clear standards and expectations on how to enforce having clear standards and expectations on how you're both going to get towards that vision. Because you don't get in life what you want, you get in life who you are. So if your vision for your relationship is to have great intimacy, great communication, great with your finances, travel the world, be great parents, what are you doing to become the people worthy of that? And then helping each other, because you are going to help each other heal and grow more than anything else. Back to the first point I said, you're going to trigger each other more than anyone else. So you're going to heal each other more than anything else. And that's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So then having standards, expectations of how to actually hold each other accountable in a loving way. Enforce them in a loving way. This is not a commando, army sergeant relationship. It's, hey, look, here's the standards, here's the expectations. We appreciate we're both going to make mistakes. We both have and we both will again. But we love each other through that and help each other get to the expectations and standards that we both have for each other in a loving way. From that, the only other points I've got is last 2 points is speak your truth. Whatever you suppress and you bite your tongue and you don't speak into, Whenever you do that, you're choosing to hurt the relationship. I want to be really real with that. If there's something your partner's doing or has done, and they might not even be aware of it, or maybe they are, and you're not speaking into it, you're not setting boundaries, you're not speaking your truth, you are hurting the relationship. You are kicking the can down the road, if you're familiar with that term, and the can gets bigger, the problem gets worse, the resentment builds, the frustration builds, the guilt, the shame, the anger, whatever emotion you got, it builds. So if your partner's doing something, if they're not speaking to you with respect, if they're not introducing you to the friends in a way that you like, if they're not honoring your boundaries, if they're not honoring you, if they're not worshiping you in the way that you want, you need to speak into these truths that are coming up for you. So whatever's in your heart, in your head, that you're not speaking into, you're ruining and destroying your relationship. So you must get the courage. And I would also encourage you guys to learn how to build a safe container in your relationship so you guys can do it freely and easily. Like, fuck, I do it all the time. It's like probably at least 2 or 3 times a week. sorry, baby girl. But I bring it up all the time. Like, I'll have a sauna, I'll do a meditation, I'll do something, or something will just drop in for me. And I'll just later on, I'll say, hey, babe, can I speak into something right now that's on my heart right now? Can I have a really open, healing conversation with you? Can I be really vulnerable with you right now? And I'll just bring something up. And sometimes it's my own shit. Sometimes it's something she's done or hasn't done. And it's okay. We just speak into it. And you got to be willing to sit in the fire. You got to be willing to navigate those tough conversations. Because if you don't, you're just going to fucking suppress it. Then you're going to judge your partner. Then you're going to resent your partner. And then you're going to, and eventually it's just going to fucking blow the relationship up, right? So you got to speak your truth. Whatever's on your heart, whatever's in your head that isn't sitting well with you, you got to speak into it. You got to be honest. You got to speak your truth. So I encourage you guys to do that consistently and so you don't have to have this one monster, massive fucking conversation, which you might have to do if you haven't done this for a long time. You might have to have a good reset, which is really recommended. But then just doing them regularly. Like if something pops up, we're obviously getting married tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to have one with her right until after the wedding. But I think like last week, something little came up. And it was nothing to do with Georgia. It was just my stuff. I just had some insecurities come up and some fear come up. And I said, hey, babe, can I just share something with you? And I get quite good at framing and articulating my conversations. But it'd be like, hey, babe, and just to let you know, this is nothing to do with you. It's just something I'm working through. Can you hold some space for me and just listen to me and yeah, love me through this? Is that okay? And she says, yes, of course. And then I'll just speak into it and then it's done and it's awesome. And then that little snowball doesn't get bigger and then result in a massive fucking fight later on. So having those regular check-ins has been really, really powerful for us. This is the last one that I want to leave with that served us. It's like another level to the point I just said about speaking your truth, but lean into your desires. Speak your desires. What are your desires in your relationship? Not just sexually, but that's obviously going to come up in there as well. What desires do you have in a relationship? Is it to explore, like travel the world? Is it to network? Is it to learn? Is it to grow? Is it to heal? Is it to work through your guys' shit? Is it sexual desires? What desires do you have? And fucking speak into it. It's something that I'm really, really grateful and proud that we're at a level at where if George has got a desire sexually, we speak into it. If I've got a desire, I speak into it. And we have a level of safety and trust with each other that we can actually honor each other's desires and not just dismiss them. Do insecurities come up? Absolutely. But because we speak into them regularly, we're able to navigate them in a really healthy way. So I'll summarize all these points for you guys. Number 1, if you don't address your unhealed wounds, your intimate relationship will do it for you. Remember, nothing triggers you. It reveals what's inside of you. So when you are triggered, take ownership and then navigate and heal through your stuff so it doesn't ruin your relationship. Number 2, have a vision for your relationship. Have a vision of what it is that you want, intimately, sexually, intellectually, whatever it may be. And set standards and expectations of how you're both going to work on yourselves to get to become the people worthy of that vision. And enforce those standards and expectations in a loving way. Speak into anything. So anything that's on your head, on your heart, that is alive for you, speak into it and don't suppress. Don't do it because you're hurting the relationship. And then last but not least, speak into your desires. Whatever desires you got, speak into it. Like, we've got one life. Don't hide those desires from yourself and your partner. Speak into them. And who knows, they might actually have similar desires as well. So thank you so much. I hope you got some value from this. To my beautiful fiance and my wife as of tomorrow, I love you. I'm so grateful to be living life with you. I'm grateful to be growing, to be healing, to experiencing this beautiful life that I have with you by my side. And I look forward to growing old with you. I love you. Thank you for listening, guys. See you on the next podcast. Bye.